My name is Irvienne Goldson. I am, for work, the Deputy Director of ABCD Health Services. ABCD is the Community Action Program for Boston, Action for Boston Community Development. And in the Health Services Department, our work focuses on reproductive health care and prevention services. I would say that I've been involved in HIV education since early 80s, and women's health actually. That was what prompted me to get involved in this work. So at 19, I actually began my work in women's health and my passion for women's health as a lay health worker, as part of a feminist women's health center. Why the topic is significant to me, I think really comes out of my experiences as a young woman. I think if you ask many people who are working in women's health, it's probably from that experience. And it's an experience where I needed to know things. Things were happening to me in terms of the changes in my body and all of those things, and really didn't have anyone to turn to. So I had to either, for me, it became an issue of control. So at 19, and actually before 19, I was really very involved and had a lot of information, I could tell you where things were, what they did, all of that. And it was actually my way personally of being in control of my reproductive health. The challenges that, I face, and I would say we face in terms of, addressing HIV, addressing sexually transmitted infection and prevention, is that to do that, you have to talk about sex, right? And we as a society across, as diverse as we are, we probably have one thing in common, and that is we don't talk about sex well, right? Or we don't talk about it at all. And I think it's from that point that some of the challenges arise. That definitely there are some experiences that you just encounter and it just kind of like hits you here, and it makes you in a lot of ways rethink why you do this, are you having an impact, all of that. But I think it's probably in many respects easier to deal with being discouraged, because I think as much as there may be that particular incident or experience that you have, there are many positive incidents that happened and you see. And I don't think of it in terms of, I think about how I may have an impact, but really it's all of us in concert working with each other really has an impact. So my work is focused on HIV and prevention, but if we're not doing the work around making sure there's affordable housing, making sure that people have food, all of those kinds of things, those are also the underlying issues that affect someone being at risk for HIV, those kinds of things. So getting to the aspects of other things that are important within our community and our society. Wellness is important, right? Our culture is important. We tend in many respects to think about the risk as opposed to the protective factors, right? So we look at risk factors, and I want to look at what the happiness index is in our community, right? And let's look at it from that way as opposed to, well, here's the level of all the risk that's there. So for me at this point, it really is about building community and how do we link with each other in the spaces that we're passionate about to be able to really affect community building and support a healthy community. I tend to look at leadership in terms of individually how we lead our lives. Are we living the life in the way that we want to? Are we living from our passion? Leadership or advocacy to me begins with asking for what we want. So when we can advocate for our own lives and for our own stories and for what's important for us, I think that is really where leadership starts.